Life's a game of dice, wait in your turn.
Hello guys, welcome to Guru Legal, your guru for all your legal needs. I am Advocate Asta Singh, founder of Guru Legal. Now you might be thinking, what is Guru Legal and what do we do here? When we have like hundreds of platforms out there, doing something or the other, is there any space for Guru Legal now? So let me tell you, what are we planning to do at Guru Legal? Now, when I was there in my law school, there were mentors, of course, but they were not the kind of a mentor, that would give you 100% attention, right, to a mood. There was a mentor, and they were busy in multiple moods. They had to manage the entire mood for society, and it is not possible for them to coach each and everyone and give 100% attention to them. Now, through my journey of multiple moods, I kept upgrading myself. I kept improving, and there I felt a very need of a mentor. I always think that if I've gotten a mentor, at a very early stage, or at a stage, early in mooting, so I might have done better. So I live my dreams through them. So when they win, it's actually me winning, and when they lose, it's actually my loss. So that is when Guru Legal came into picture. So I can help, broader. I can help everyone in broader aspect, and I can reach out to millions of students who are graduating everywhere with no clue on how to upgrade their skills and how to go about their journey in law school. So enough about me. Let's talk about our main session. What is moot court? And why is it so important? Now, moot court, if I have to simplify, it's like debating but in a courtroom scenario. If I have to give you a long answer, I would say a moot court is a simulated court proceedings where you have to argue a fictional case and showcase your advocacy skills. And that is what moot court is. To turn the theories of law into its practical applications. And it is the best and the most suggested way to go about law school. Now, you have done a lot of debating in school, or you might not have done it. But now, when you are in law school, now, I would say that you have to focus on moot courts. Moot courts are very important. I'm not saying that moot courts are the only thing that you have to focus on, but it is one of the things that you need to focus on. So, let's start with why moot courts is important and how it can change your life. Now, why moot courts is important? Now, moot court bridges the gap between the theory and the practical application. It would help you in understanding how to apply law in a practical scenario. Though it might not be a very replica of what actually happens in court proceedings, but it helps you develop the skill of advocacy. It helps you develop your research skill, your drafting skill, your writing skills, your speaking skills. And it gives you an edge in your CV. When you go about your internship, people would see what other things you have done other than study and internship. And their moot court comes in picture. Okay, you have done something and you have actually achieved something. So, the way I go about my law school is you must at least do 5 to 6 moot courts throughout 5 years of college. At least this is the least number of amount that you have to do. Now, moving towards how many kinds of moot courts are there? So there is not like multiple kinds, but there are multiple subject matters. Now there are moot courts about criminal law. There's a moot court for constitutional law, international law, public international law, international humanitarian law, contract law, antitrust law, etc., etc., etc. One of the things why moot court is important is कि imagine if I'm doing a constitutional law moot today, right? I read a lot of constitution and now I'm like, okay, this is fine, but I think I like criminal. And then I go on and read criminal law, but then I read contract law and I'm like, okay, I'm amazed. Maybe my interest lies in contract law. And now, I have found the subject matter that I want to master in. And then I go about, exploring those subject matters in internship also. So this is where mood court helps you. It helps you in narrowing down your interest, your subject matter. A mood court has a lot of benefits. I cannot sit and list down it for you, because if I do that, it would be an hour-long video. So not to waste a lot of time, let's jump right into what is. So without nahi. So without wasting further time, let's move on to our training. Now let's begin with our mood court training workshop. Now I would be sharing a PPT and I would be explaining as to what is memorial and how to go about it and etc etc. So let's start. If you want to know more about me, you can connect me on LinkedIn. The link is in bio, and you can connect me on Instagram also. And don't forget to follow Guru Legal, subscribe this channel, drop a comment on what might be the next potential video you want, and I'll make it. Yeah. Chalo, let's begin. So now, what is the objective of this session? It is about how to conduct basic research, how to use legal resources like SCC Online, Manupatra and CaseMine, how to draft a memorial, citation and footnoting. Now, Ian Morley has said, we learn advocacy by doing, so practice, 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 practice. This is so true in terms of like you go on and you read a lot of theories, but if you have zero idea about its practical application, you have literally done nothing. So, practice. Practice makes a man perfect, and you have to do mooting to master the law. Now, what is advocacy to you? The taste of advocacy presented by mooting will help you decide if life as an advocate is indeed for you, or if you would enjoy other aspects of life, or if you would enjoy other aspects of law more. How do you prepare for a moot? Now, whenever a moot problem releases, now what is a moot problem? I would keep it simple as to as moot problem is the factual scenario of your moot. A fictional case that you have to argue upon. That's it. That's a moot problem. And there you would find 2, 3, 4 issues, or maybe you have to draft your own issues that we will discuss at the later stage. But on those issues you have to argue and you have to build your arguments, right? So now how do you prepare for a moot? Now imagine like today, if the moot problem releases, what I would do? I would read the problem like at least 3-4 times. I would highlight all the relevant portions that I would feel is relevant to the issues that are in the subject matter, and then I would start randomly researching. No, I would tell you how to research, but I would research. After that, I would again go through the problem, read it from the different perspective, and highlight all the important facts. Now I will take a Word document and I would organize the important factual scenarios of the moot problem. I will prepare some important notes and I will start framing my arguments. Now, how would you go about thinking and research? How does it go about? Now, popular drama usually depicts advocacy as no more than a glamorous lawyer making a few case-winning points in a packed courtroom, usually arrived at in a moment of sheer inspiration. A true advocate, however, will tell you that the many hours spent researching and preparing for a case are the true linchpins to success. Thinking and research are interdependent. Thinking about the problem will suggest lines of inquiry. What your research reveals will provoke further thought. Both processes call for hard work. A good quality argument, supported by the best possible authorities, is the reward. Now, these dramas I am talking about, I would talk about my personal experiences that I was very much inspired by K.D. Pathak. The Adalat drama. The young generation might have grown up watching Suits. That I also watched it, but yes, things do not work like that. But it's okay. It's okay. Now thinking. Now how to think. Thinking randomly is not an option. You have to think in terms of a case. Now, when thinking about your argument, start by considering the following. What court is the case to be held on? In. Now, is it a district court? Is it a high court? Is it a Supreme Court? Or it's in arbitration? You have to see the stage of the moot problem and in which court it is going on. Now, what is the case history? You have to see what is the background. Now, is it going in appeal? Is it going in revision? Is it a PIL? Is it a suo motu petition? What is it? You have to think about it. Now, what are the facts of the case? We already discussed important facts of the case. What is the timeline of events? And all of these can be discerned from the moot problem itself. You don't have to go, anywhere out researching. It's about reading, selecting, narrowing down the important things, and then preparing dates and events. On what date, what happened, and what is important for us. Right. Now then, you should then list all the issues which arise and the likely arguments for both sides. You have to select the best points to use them and decide on the best order in which to present them. Now for research, you just start by reading all the relevant statutory and case authorities plus any other relevant articles. The object of your research is very much to get your head around the legal issues which are raised by the moot question. You should then formulate the arguments which you will use in your oral submissions. Now, how to do research, we will see it later. Now, organizing your points. Points you will want to make during submission will be both negative and positive in nature. Positive points are those which advances your arguments and negative points are put forward to rebut what your opponent have submitted. Now, choosing points. How to choose points? If you have more points than you can hope to cover in the time available for the pleading, be prepared to cut down your arguments. Remember that the strength of an argument is not improved by adding weak points to a strong case. Now, ordering points. A moot is an exercise in intellectual persuasion. The argument must be conducted in a coherent fashion, step by step as a rule of thumb. It is advisable for you to put forward your positive points before your negative ones. The best logical order for your points may become apparent only when your preparation is well advanced. The important thing is to be satisfied before you complete your preparation that your argument is as clear and compelling as you can make it. Now, what is a skeletal argument? Now, in skeletal argument, you do not prepare the whole argument, you just prepare the idea of your argument. Now, once you have your points organized, you need to compose your skeletal arguments. Skeletal arguments are summary of the principal points of your submissions that you intend to make, plus the authorities you are intending to rely on during the moot itself. Now, how to research? The purpose of research is to support arguments with legal authority, to understand the judicial interpretation of laws, right? Now, what should be the sources? Now, I have seen at this stage a lot of students, what they do is they copy paste everything from Indian Qanun, right? They cite, when they are citing, they are basically what they are doing is they are copy pasting the link of Indian Qanun. And that is not the right citation that you can put there. The citation journey, I will cover in my upcoming videos, how to go about citation. But this is a very wrong approach. Now, Indian Qanun, you cannot refer to random websites. You have to refer to the primary resources first. Now, what are primary resources? For example, if it's a constitutional law moot, you have to refer MP Jain or J.N. Pandey. You have to refer to the commentary of constitutional law. First, go about the constitutional law, all the articles. Then, you go in and read the commentaries. There, you will find the case laws. Go about, read those case laws, and there you will find the arguments that you require for your moot. You understand the map that I have built here. So, what are the primary sources? Statutes, case law, and constitutional provisions. Now, secondary sources are commentaries, journals, and online database. Now, what are steps to research? Identify keywords related to the issue. Use reliable databases like SCC Online or Manupatra. Note down relevant cases and the statutes. Analyze and organize things. Now, let's learn to use SCC, JustMundi, Oxford, Hein Online, CaseMine. Now, all these things I'm not going to discuss it today. I'm just going to give you a brief idea as how to go about the research on SCC Online. Now, let's learn to use SCC Online. Now, whenever you open SCC Online dashboard, this is the first thing you are going to see after you logged in, right? First, let's see what is the second line is for. Second line, the red one. Now, these red boxes are here to help you in expanding your legal knowledge. This is when you are curious about something and you are reading and or you want to just enhance your knowledge in some fields. That's it. There we are not going to touch it while we are doing this moot code. Now in the first line, all the blue boxes, we can use it. Now how to use it? Now word search, there you go, you put the keyword, whatever keyword comes in your mind when you read the moot problem. Now for example, if the moot problem is about criminal law and this person, the accused, has taken the defense of intoxication or mental insanity. Now whether this is valid or not, whether the accused can take the defense of mental insanity, right? This is the issue. For example, now in the word search I'll go and I'll put mental insanity and there it would narrow down the research, the articles, the case laws, the provisions where the word mental insanity has come. If from there I find a case, or if I find a case from the commentaries itself, then I'll go and I'll see find case laws by section. I'll put the name of I'll put the citation in the third column, find by citation, and I'll put it there and I'll find it. Now if for example I have to go about what is article 10 of me. Now if I have to go about what is article 90 of this IPC, what is article 90 of IPC or Bharat Nyaya Samhita, we go by find case law by section. So we will go here, we'll put the section here and then we'll get the case laws. Simple matter. Now fourth column, find by party name. Here I'll put the name, for example, K. Sunanda Bharti. I know the party name, I'll put it here, K. Sunanda Bharti versus Union of India, and there it comes. I'll go by find by topic, I'll put the topic as I'll put the topic as basic structure of the constitution. Now, these are the things that you can use. Here it comes as the word search, here you put anything and then it will research for you. Now, how to use SCC in length, I will talk about it in my next upcoming session, but yeah, that was a brief description. Now, this is CaseMine. In CaseMine, there's a very interesting filter also. You can upload your moot problem here and it will give you, all the relevant case laws that it thinks is important for you. So, yeah. Now, what are the components of memorial? I'll show you the memorial at the later stage also, but for now I'll tell you what are the components of memorial. There is this cover page. Now the cover page will include the essential information such as the name of the competition, the name of the title of the memorial, right? Whether it's petitioner, whether it's respondent, and what is the title of the case, and etc. etc. Right. Now, table of contents. In table of contents, we will provide the outline of the memorial. Like this is statement of facts, statement of issues, summary of arguments, advance arguments, my prayer, factual scenario, everything. So it's an index of a memorial. Now in index of authorities, what is there? It's the citations that you have, the authorities that you have used throughout a memorial. So it will come as an index. Now statement of jurisdiction, for example, your case is going. Now statement of jurisdiction, for example, your moot problem is about the violation of fundamental rights. So the petitioner has filed a writ petition under Article 32 of the Constitution. So statement of jurisdiction would be Article 32 of the Constitution, right? Statement of facts are the brief summary of one page for what is statement what. Now statement of facts are brief one page summary of your factual background. Statement of issues, these are the issues that are already given in your moot problem that you need to address. For example, whether the court has the locus standi. For example, the mental insanity thing, or whether the court has jurisdiction, whether the accused is liable, etc., etc. These kind of things are come in this place. Now summary of arguments. Summary of arguments, here you put your overall entire argument in one paragraph. Argument advance, now this is a lengthy 10-15 page arguments that you have prepared for each issue that is given in a problem. Now the prayer you are seeking what you are seeking from the court. So you write from all the authorities cited, the question presented, we humbly request submit to the court that the court has the jurisdiction in this case, the accused is not liable, and etc., etc. So whatever you are seeking from the court. Whenever you're drafting, your note should come in handy, especially the citation, the case laws that you are making. Now where your notes refer to a decision, include clear indication of the location of any passages that you may need to refer, those you think that judges may ask about you. So when we prepare a speech, we highlight all the areas that judges may ask. So while preparing the speech, whenever we feel that this is the one question that judges might ask, we put it there. Where are the fundamental rights given in the Constitution? So we will write in the bracket part 3. So things like that, we need to be very handy about it. So for that, you can have a double page spread reserving one side for the arguments and one side for the names of the cases or other materials that you have used. For example, you're quoting a judgment and the court says, okay, tell me the year, tell me the judge's name, tell me the citation of it, whether you're bluffing the court or not. How would the court decide? It would decide if you have the proper citation. Now when you're beginning with your pleadings, so it's usually a good practice to have at the beginning of your notes a statement of bare bones of your arguments in the form of some simple proposition that you state at the outset and dictate if the judges want to write it down. These submissions should appear in a skeleton and the judges can be directed to them in that document. Your argument will be directed to establishing your submissions either cumulatively or in the alternative. For example, your submission might be that no contract was made between the parties because the appellant offer was withdrawn before the respondent's acceptance became effective. That even if parties made an agreement, they did not intend to create legal relations, and that if there was a contract, the damage suffered by the respondent is too remote and only normal damages are recoverable. So there's a tip ki whenever you prepare an argument, run it through your friend or your teacher, professor, any coach, any senior, to get an idea or a feedback ki whether you're going in a right direction or not. Or you can run it by me also. Now drafting a memorial. How to go about it? First issues, relevant law. Now application and conclusion. Now this is the method that we follow while we are drafting a memorial. which we called IRAC. Issue, relevant law, application, conclusion. Now let's learn how to use IRAC. So now the Government of India, through constitutional amendment, abolished the payment of privy purses to former princely states in 1971. A former ruler, Raja Virendra Singh, challenges this amendment, arguing that it violates his fundamental right. So here what we learned ki the Government of India proposed a constitutional amendment, and from it abolished all the privy purses, and there are people who are devastated by this act. So here the petitioner is simply arguing that it is abolition of privy purses, violation of his fundamental right. So now let's identify the issues. If the issues are already not given in the moot problem, then you have to sit down and break it down as to what can be the issues. Now we try to answer three basic questions mostly. What fact has the most material bearing on my case? Second, what would the party pray for? And third, which provision of the law should remedy the problem statement? So now here one issue could be whether the abolishment of whether the abolishment of privy purses is a breach of fundamental right of all the princely state rulers, former princely state rulers, right? Second would be whether Government of India can exercise its power and introduce such constitutional amendment abolishing the privy purses when it has already signed an agreement in the past. So these are just an example that what kind of issues you can frame and whether the court has a jurisdiction to listen to this petition. So things like that. So now step number 2, rule. Issue we have dealt. Now rule. Start by mentioning the basic law. Now if you are arguing about jurisdiction, start by Article 32 if it's a writ petition. What is Article 32? Just bare act, bare provision, just quote it, right? Herein you can start by, you could start by the jurisdiction requirement of the Supreme Court. Then read the most important cases on the subject matter. For example, here it's the Scindia case. It is a primary judgment in privy purses. Now step 3, analyze. Connect the rule to the facts. Explain how the principle applies to the specific case. Identify whether the conditions of the rules are met. Now you have to address the counter arguments. Consider opposing viewpoints or legal barriers. Explain how precedent cases influences the current cases. Explain the likely outcomes based on the prior judgment, interpretation, predict the legal consequences. Now, what is conclusion? Now we have to come to the fourth stage. Like issue we dealt, rule we dealt, application we dealt. Application is when we are saying that Article 32 gives you the right that you can file a writ petition directly in Supreme Court if there is a violation of fundamental right done by the state. In this case, Raja Virendra Singh right to livelihood has been violated by the abolishment of privy purses. Just an example top of my head. So this is how I applied rule to the facts. This is the third stage, application part. Now coming to the fourth stage, conclusion part. The conclusion in IRAC is a concise summary of your analysis, providing a very clear answers to the legal issue based on the application of the rule. Now the conclusion should directly answer the issue. Does the claimant, does the petitioner succeed or fail? You should acknowledge any uncertainties. If the case is not clear cut, note the potential arguments like arguendo. In arguendo, the court believes that this is actually happened. So this is our secondary argument, right? Now here you have to be concise, decisive and avoid any unnecessary repetition. So it would go about like this. The petitioner's fundamental right has been violated and therefore the petitioner has the right to file petition under Article 32 of, therefore The court has the jurisdiction. Now let's take an example of how does a bad draft look like. You can read it for yourself. Pause this video, give it a read, and try to find out what is wrong in this draft. Pause this video and give it a read. Now, how it should have been done. That was a bad draft. That was not a good draft. Now this is a good draft. Now here, if I compare in the old one, bad draft, it started directly with the factual background. Then it went on from from fifth line, it went on to saying about the rule, and then there was, no, it never ended. There was no conclusion to it. There's rule, in between there are facts coming. So it's very rearranged in a very bad manner. So now how you should go about it? First, you would cite all the important laws that are important, and then you would cite the factual background, and then you would conclude. Okay. Now footnoting and citation from here, in word references, insert footnote, you can start footnoting. Now citation style, there are a lot of citation style. This is haphazard citation, is where you can form your own citation. Uniform style of citations there are three: Blue Book, Osceola and Gilly. So mostly people use Blue Book when you are doing this moot court. Others are used in other kind of competitions. Now for Blue Book, I would put this link in the bio, or you can search in the Google also. Just put it that Blue Book 20th edition, and it would give you a guide as to how to convert anything into a citation. I would also take a session in the future about it. I would like to give top 10 suggestions to all the mooters. First, make sure you have read and understood the rules and regulations of the competition. Second, allow yourself sufficient time to research your argument. Third, when you receive your opponent's head of arguments, align your negative points to ensure that they rebut your opponent's arguments effectively. So, when will you get your opponent's memorial? At the time of the competition. So there you have to rearrange your speech in a manner that the speech is countering all the points that are in the memorial of your opponent, right? Fourth, prepare notes of key points for a submission, not a full speech. So mainly what you don't need to prepare is a line to line speech, but rather just write down the bullet points and you should do good. Test your principal submissions. Run it through your friend, any teacher or professor, senior, anybody. Do nothing to distract the attention of the court from your argument. Now, how does it happen when you're standing on the podium? What you're doing, you're playing with your... Now, when you're standing on the podium, you're playing with your hands. There are like too much hand gesture, okay? Or there's you shaking around, or there's you with, playing with the pen. And there's you like this, okay, now you're adjusting your hair, everything. So it distracts the judges from your actual argument. So if you have good arguments, now don't do it because a lot of marks will be cut, a lot of marks will be reduced from the court mannerism. Now seventh, when handling question, listen to the question first. Don't interrupt the judges. Judges will give you the sufficient time. Don't interrupt them, listen first, take your time and then do it, answer it. Now when citing authorities, watch the movement of the judge. If you have presented, compendium, then let him read. If you are citing authority, give him time. If in doubt, ask whether the courts need to be reminded about certain facts. And the most important thing, enjoy yourself. It's a moot court, it's not the end of your life. Now, at the end, the drafting of a moot memorial is not always a bed of roses. It could sometimes be a walk on thrones. Not all propositions are intelligently prepared. Still, give it a best shot and make it as promising as you can. वो अफसाना जिसे अंजाम तक लाना ना हो मुश्किल, उसे एक खूबसूरत मोड़ देकर छोड़ना अच्छा. Thank you guys. Thank you. This was the end. Please subscribe to the channel and keep watching my videos. आज का सेशन थोड़ा ब्रीफ था, एक बिगनर सेशन था, एक जनरलाइज सेशन था एज टू कि क्या है मूट और क्यों करना चाहिए, और बेसिकली मूट के स्टेप्स एंड प्रोसीजर्स क्या होंगे. बट आने वाली सेशंस में आई वुड कवर एज टू डिटेल्ड में रिसर्च कैसे करनी है, ड्राफ्टिंग कैसे करनी है, एंड एवरीथिंग एल्स अबाउट इट. सो सब्सक्राइब करो, फॉलो करो, लाइक करो, कमेंट करो. अगर कोई डाउट हो, पर्सनल सेशन चाहिए हो, प्लीज़ फॉर कनेक्ट मी ऑन लिंक्डइन इफ़ यू नीड एनी पर्सनल गाइडेंस. Link is in description. Connect me on Instagram as well. Follow Guru Legal and be updated. Thank you so much. Thank you.